What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Kubrat Pulev has pulled out of the Anthony Joshua fight with a shoulder injury. He is being replaced by Carlos Takam. Now, before we get into that fight, obviously Pulev was mandatory and Anthony Joshua had to fight him. Now that he's injured, does he lose that spot? Or will he just be called as the mandatory later on? Because from what I've read online, Carlos Takam is now mandatory. They just go down in the rankings and Takam is the next available guy. And apparently now he's the mandatory. Is that the case, or does Pulev still hold that spot? Or maybe he does still have that spot, but he's going to have to wait longer now to take it. I'm not sure, but according to some reports online, Takam is now the mandatory. As far as late replacements go, I don't think this is a terrible fight, to be quite honest. I think Takam is a good fighter. He's tricky, he's awkward, he's got this ability to roll with shots, he's got a good chin, good gas tank as well. The only thing of Carlos Takam, almost like Pulev, he doesn't have power. That is the only downside of his game. If Carlos Takam had power, he would be a handful. He really would. But his lack of power does let him down at times. Also, he's quite a short heavyweight. You know, he's 6'1.5". So his lack of power and his size may count against him in this fight. Having said that, he has got a couple of good wins on the resume. He did beat Tony Thompson when Tony Thompson was still relevant. He also got a draw against Mike Perez, and a lot of people felt he won that fight. So he does have some good form at heavyweight. He also fought Alexander Povetkin. He got knocked out in that fight, but was boxing really well and was caught by a big left hook. And he was winning rounds against Povetkin. That Povetkin fight was nip and tuck, but he got caught with a big left hook and he got taken out. He also had a close fight with Joseph Parker, who obviously went on to be a world champion. So he's only lost to the elite guys in the division in recent years. He took an early loss in his career to Gregory Tony, but since then he has improved quite a lot. Overall, for a late replacement, it's a decent fight, I've got to say. I mean, in terms of the other heavyweight champions, in terms of their title defences, Carlos Takam is still probably a better title defence than anybody on Deontay Wilder's resume. And by the way, I'm not saying that to get at Deontay Wilder, but you do have to put these things in perspective. Has Deontay Wilder defended his title against somebody as good as Carlos Takam? I would say no. I don't think Spielka's on that level. I don't think Ariola's on that level. I don't think Molina or Duhaupas are on that level, to be quite honest. So, although it's disappointing that Pulev has pulled out, in the grand scheme of things, when you actually analyse everything and put everything in perspective, Takam's not really a bad opponent when you compare it to what the other heavyweights are doing. I know Joseph Parker has beaten Takam already, but it was a good close fight, really competitive, and that's the type of level Takam's at. He is not top 5. You know, he's not a top 5 heavyweight, but he's top 15. He's a solid guy. He's got some subtle skills, decent defense. He can roll with shots, like I said. Good body puncher, decent on the inside. You know, he's got some things going for him. He's a solid fighter, but I just don't think he'll have enough in this fight. He's not coming into this fight with enough preparation. I know the guy keeps in very good shape. If you follow him at all, if you follow his career, you would know that he keeps in excellent shape. But he's not had time to prepare for the style of Anthony Joshua. And that's going to put him at an even bigger disadvantage. But all in all, it's disappointing that Pulev has pulled out. But again, it's really not the worst replacement. Maybe I'm being too positive, but the reality is, how many times do we see when a fighter pulls out injured, how many times do we see the replacement being an absolute pudding or the fight gets called off completely? We see that a lot. So, I don't think you can call Carlos Takam a pudding. I really don't. I think if you follow the heavyweight division, you would realise Takam, at very worst, is a fringe contender. But in most people's opinions, I think he'd be in the top 15 rankings, to be quite honest. He's a solid contender in my opinion, and I think his fights with Tony Thompson, Mike Perez, Joseph Parker and Povetkin prove that, win, lose or draw, he never gives his opponents easy night's work. So, all in all, not the worst replacement, but that is just my opinion. What do you guys think? Peace.